Hi, this is Sue. I'm going to tell you about your next deliverable, which is the project plan and team contract. This is a document you'll write and submit as a team. In other words, you'll collaborate with your team members to write it, and you'll submit one project plan and team contract per team. Here's what it is. It's a document that answers the following questions. What do we need to know in order to start work on the project? This should be a list of questions or topics about which you need to know in order to help you define the problem and to generate a list of project tasks. It should involve information that comes from or is related to at least 3 different sources: the client, the users or stakeholders, and you yourselves. One example of information that comes from the client is the constraints on the project. What are the client's requirements for the project? These constraints and requirements are things like budget, timeline, who the users or stakeholders are, and what problem the client has asked you to solve, as well as the conditions or circumstances under which your final solution has to operate. Information that comes from you might be things like when you and your team members have blocks of time for meeting and working on your project. Information that comes from the users or stakeholders will be the basis for your bug lists, which you'll record in your design log. Remember, a bug list is a list of frustrations, problems, and opportunities for improvement related to a particular situation. You should start anticipating the bugs of your users for this project, and these bugs can form the basis for the questions that you'll ask your users. The next question you'll answer in your project plan and team contract is, what don't we know? What information do we need that we don't currently have? This section of the document should focus on questions for the client and the project users. Next, you'll answer the question, what is our plan for acquiring the essential information that we don't know? In other words, what do we need to do in order to answer our questions or acquire the information we need? You'll use this plan to determine the tasks that you'll assign among your teammates and put on your project schedule. After that, you'll answer, what are the individual team members' responsibilities in completing this work? In this section of your document, you'll describe exactly which team member is doing exactly which task. Next, you'll tell us, what are the team's agreed upon guidelines in working together? You should work with your team to determine 3 to 5 guidelines concerning things like when you'll meet, what's acceptable and unacceptable behavior for individual teammates, and what the consequences are for a teammate who doesn't abide by the team's guidelines. Next, you'll answer, what is our proposed schedule for the required tasks, including who will do each task? Remember those tasks you determined for getting the information that you don't know? In this section of the document, you'll put those tasks on a project timeline. Be sure to include who's doing each task and also include your major deliverables on the project timeline. Here are the details regarding your project plan and team contract deliverable. The audience for this document are your mentors. It should be 3 to 5 pages in 12-point times font, double-spaced, with standard Microsoft Word margins. Please include a cover page with your EPICS 151 section letter, the names of everyone on your team, and the names of your mentors. It's due the week of February 2nd, and this deliverable is worth 10% of your semester grade. This project plan is a working document, so use it to plan your work and be sure to make changes to it as and when appropriate. While it's due the week of February 2nd, an updated revision is also due the week of March 23rd. We'll expect to see significant changes and updates in your revised document. So, this is a lot of information regarding this deliverable. If you need to refer to a written description of it, that's available on Blackboard. How will you get started on this deliverable? You'll have in-class team time to start working on your list of questions regarding the project. Later this week, you'll actually meet with the client, so you should have a list of questions prepared before the client meeting. Now let's take a look at what excellence might look like in terms of your project plan and team contract. As you can see from the rubric we'll use to grade this deliverable, we expect you to produce a comprehensive and insightful list of questions you need answers to and information you need to know. We also want to see a detailed plan for answering these questions and acquiring this information. We expect you to use this plan to generate a project schedule which includes all the tasks you've come up with, as well as who will do each of these tasks and by when. We expect to see your guidelines for how you'll work together as a team, as well as your penalties for team members who don't meet those guidelines. You should think of this as a professional document, so be concise and efficient in your writing, use a professional tone, and remember that things like grammar, spelling, and punctuation count. Now let's relate this deliverable to the creative problem-solving process that we introduced you to in our first video. You'll see that the activities involved in completing your project plan and team contract document fit within the project definition stage of the process. And having your project plan and team contract completed sets you up really nicely for the next stage of the process, exploration, in which you further research your project topic and engage in user empathy exercises. Now go have some fun with this deliverable and be sure to ask your mentors if you have any questions.